Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission, and we're talking Christmas today, all right? We're moving into the Christmas season, so I'm joined by Pastor Jeff Higbie. He is from the Calvary Assembly of God Church in Jefferson City, so thank you for making the long drive to join us here on Lake TV.
Yeah, well, it's Higbie.
Oh, Higbie.
You got it close. You know, I've been called a little bit of everything.
All right, just don't call me late for dinner, right?
Exactly.
Okay, Higbie. I actually had a boss that was named Higbie one time. We don't want to get into that.
Okay.
So how long have you been a pastor?
Well, I was pastoring probably in the late 80s with children and youth and stuff like that. I got credentialed in the Assemblies of God in 1994 was my first official credential level. And I was pastoring at Argentine Assembly of God Church in Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
And there for 4 years, and then we moved to Iberia, Missouri. We pastored there at the Assembly of God Church in Iberia for 15 years. And then the last 11 years, we've been at Jefferson City Calvary Assembly of God.
Okay, so do you, I can't think of a job that might be harder than being a pastor. Putting up with people and all this stuff all the time. Do you enjoy it? Is it fun for you?
Well, it is. I mean, it's like any job. It has its ups and its downs and things like that. But when you're called to it, you know that's what you must do. And so you live with the ups and downs. And I would imagine most jobs have ups and downs.
Sure.
But the rewards are just tremendous. So.
Okay, well, good. So we're moving into the Christmas season here. So Christians celebrate the Christmas time as the birth of Jesus, right? Is that really when Jesus was born, or is that just when we kind of celebrate?
Well, it's when we celebrate it. I mean, we don't have the exact calendar on all of that. The smarter theologians than I will tell you that more than likely in our calendar that Jesus was born in what would be around our late March or April.
Okay.
More than likely. Don't have anything specific, but probably in that time frame.
Yeah, I've kind of seen something on that where some of the astronomers or whatever can go back and see when there was a big star over Jerusalem and stuff like that. And I think they do springtime over there in Jerusalem. So a big part of celebrating Christmas for Christians is the nativity, the virgin birth. Now, why is that important for Christians?
It's important because we have to recognize that we serve a supernatural God. We are very much in the natural form, and we serve a supernatural God. So when Jesus was presented to the world, he had to come in a supernatural way. And the benefit of that is when we're dealing with issues in our life that are beyond our ability to manage, we know that we can turn to a supernatural God that isn't set in the same frame that we are. He has abilities far beyond ours.
Right.
And so to know that we serve a God that is supernatural and all-powerful and all-knowing is tremendously helpful to our faith.
So there are a lot of people out there, a lot of critics that just kind of laugh at that, right? Virgin birth, yeah, right, I really believe that. But Christians really do believe that. That's kind of an anchor to Christianity.
Yeah, yeah. I've said all the time that when you talk to somebody who doesn't know the story, and you say, this is what we believe in. We believe in a Jesus who was born supernaturally, you know, from the womb of a virgin, and then he died on a cross, and he was sinless. And anybody who raised teenagers have a hard time believing Jesus was sinless.
Right.
And that he was sinless. He went to the cross. He died, gave up his life for us, and 3 days later miraculously rose again. That's a pretty hard story to swallow for some people.
Yeah.
And then you get into the communion and, hey, we take the bread, this is his body, this is the cup, this is his blood. It can be a challenging thing to get people to see this from the supernatural and scriptural point of view. It's a difficult story.
But that's a really good point. If you're going to believe in a God, you want this God to be big and able to do anything pretty much. If he can't do a virgin birth, then he's not a very good God, right?
That's absolutely right.
And same thing with raising him from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you grew up in Kansas, I think, heartland of America, right? Yeah. So how did your family celebrate Christmases back in Kansas?
You know, I was thinking about that earlier today, and when I think about the Kansas holidays, Christmas especially, we were poor folk. I mean, we didn't. There were people out there worse off than us, without a doubt. But we didn't have much. There was 8 of us kids. I'm the youngest out of 8. And there's a 20-year span between the oldest, which is my brother Roger, and me. So big span. I was raised with some nieces and nephews that were just a year or 2 younger than me, you know. And so, but Christmas, everybody showed up.
Yeah. And
we all bought each other something. It might have been a box of 22 shells for, back in those days, 50 cents.
Right.
A pair of tube socks, which was common in the 60s and 70s. Tube socks.
I remember those.
And,
I got those too.
But you know, the room was full of these little cheap gifts, you know, that cost a quarter, or cost 50 cents, and so. There was never anything significant except for just being together, and everybody had fun. We were together.
It was a different era back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you know, I gave my heart to the Lord when I was 12 years old. After being in the Christmas program at church, my mother raised us in church.
Really?
And it was the Christmas program in church that just got my heart where it wouldn't let go of me. And I was laying there in bed that night, and I thought, you know, I've got to do something with this. And I remember coming downstairs, my mom sitting in her reading light, reading her Bible. I'll probably get emotional. And I said, Mom, I need to ask Jesus in my heart. And we knelt down at the couch right then and there. And she prayed me through. And it came from being a kid in the Christmas program. That's why it's so important that parents raise their kids in church and be a part of those things.
Absolutely. What was it about the Christmas story that rang the bell in you?
You know, I really don't remember. I don't remember any specific thing.
Yeah.
I just remember this God loved us so much that, you know, here's this baby Jesus that came in a manger, you know, and in such a difficult way. And he did that for us. And so it just really stirred my heart.
That is so cool. All right, so we're talking with Pastor Jeff Higbie from Calvary Assembly of God. We're talking about Christmas from a Christian perspective. So we'll have more on Christmas right after this.
Take Lake TV with you wherever you go. Watch Lake TV on demand on YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV.
At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to the COMC Community Spotlight Show here on Lake TV. We're talking Christmas. We're into the season, and we have got Pastor Jeff Higbie with us here from Calvary Assembly of God in Jefferson City. So we were talking before the break there about you grew up in Kansas. Mm-hmm. Christmas was a little different back then. Gifts weren't quite as big and huge and all that stuff. What were some of your favorite Christmas presents ever that you got?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I think probably the thing that I looked for the most every year was, and my brothers and I would kind of support each other on this. The 2 things that always came to mind was flashlights and bullets.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. We grew up, we're country folk. You know, we grew up on the farm, and, you know, I was carrying a fishing pole and a 22 and I was just a little kid. And so we did a lot of shooting, a lot of fishing, a lot of hunting, and outdoors a lot, you know, and flashlights and bullets, I think, was it.
That's about as good as it got right back
Pretty
then.
simple.
You'd take the socks too, I'm sure, right?
We definitely needed the socks.
Yeah, that'd keep you warm out there. So over the years, things have changed. I think it's more, if not all, about the gifts and the giving now, unlike the old days. You think that's true, or what's going on with that?
Well, I think it's obvious, you know, from a Christian standpoint, as we stand back and look at it, that we have allowed it to become commercialized.
Yeah.
And hear what I'm saying there. We allowed that. We didn't stop that. We didn't slow it down. We didn't do anything about that. We just kind of bought into it, and we commercialized it too much, and it became a very self-centered, commercialized thing. If you've ever noticed that one of the things that happen almost every Christmas time, they'll be out interviewing people in the stores and stuff like that, and they'll always ask people, what does Christmas mean to you?
Right.
And almost every single time, I've never seen an answer differ from this. Every time it'll be about family. Well, it's about family. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not. Christmas isn't about family. It's about the birth of Jesus Christ, that supernatural birth of a Savior who came to save us from our sins. That's what it's about. We gather as a family, and we celebrate as a family. We give gifts to one another in supportive of the idea of the gift of Jesus from the Father in heaven. That's what that's all about. But we kind of forgot all about that part of it and just focused on the gift giving too much. It became commercialized.
And even that, I mean, it's like people would say, well, there's nothing wrong with family. And that's true. There's nothing wrong with family, but it's still not the reason.
It's not the right answer.
Right, for the season, absolutely. And there's even been a push in the last, I don't know, however long, to stop calling it Christmas, you know, because that might offend somebody, right?
Yeah.
Kind of along the same lines as kind of forgetting the whole reason for the holiday there. How about Christmas foods? Do you have a favorite Christmas food?
I really don't. I'm a sweets guy.
Yeah?
I love the sweets.
You couldn't tell. You're
I tell you,
in pretty good shape.
My daughter is trying so hard to get me off of the sugar. She's an RN, and she's trying so hard to get me off of the sugar, and I can't pass a candy bowl. I love the sweets, and so if I had to lean towards something, it'd be the sweets.
Okay, you're liking that. Does your wife like baking and doing that whole thing?
She's a fantastic cook. My wife Patty, I've been married to her for 43 years. She is a fantastic cook. And
yeah.
And my whole family is really good cooks. They do a great job.
I offended my wife a few years ago. I was on a diet. I'm like, I'm not eating your sweets, right? That offended her.
Oh.
So I had to start eating them. And look what happened. You know,
you don't want to offend her.
It's kind of sad. You talked about the real meaning of Christmas. It's about God. It's about Jesus. Not even about the family and all that stuff. So is Christmas a good time to reach out to non-believers and talk to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gotta wonder sometimes, people that wonder what this is all about, and it's an opportunity for us to say, this isn't about gifts and trees and Santa Claus. It's about Jesus. And I think any Christian event, any Christian holiday, and I view pretty much all of our holidays as Christian holidays.
Yeah,
I really do. In America, I do, and it gives opportunity for us to, at the gas pumps or whatever, to just bring Jesus into the equation.
Yeah,
have that conversation.
Yeah. How about over the years enjoying Christmas? Did you enjoy Christmas more as a kid back in Kansas growing up, or as a parent with those youngsters, waking up on Christmas morning, or as a grandparent?
I would say that I think that the child part of that in all of those equations, when I was the child, when my children were little, and now with grandchildren, it's just, we get to see that kind of replayed in our lives. We just love that. I think outside of that, probably the most special Christmas was Patty and I's first Christmas together.
Really?
We hardly had anything. We couldn't squeeze two nickels together hardly, but we remembered what we got that year for each other, and it wasn't much. But we were so excited, we opened up a day early. And then we were on Christmas morning, we were like, okay, now what do we do? But I remember that. It was a very special day.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing for making memories. Okay, so we're out of time, but if folks want to get some more information about you or Calvary Assembly of God, Jeff City, how do they get that?
The best way is to go to our Facebook page. We do live stream most of our services, especially Sunday morning. And if you go, there's a million Calvary Assembly of God churches out there. But if you go to Calvary Assembly of God, Jefferson City, Missouri, you'll be able to find our Facebook page, like it, get connected on there, live stream. Our website is www.agjc.com. And again, you can find us there and connect with us there as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Pastor. And thank you for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.